Hey guys, welcome back to part 4 of my step-by-step Starfield Outpost guide where we'll build the first galactic empire. This time we'll be connecting all of our outposts once again and begin tier 2 manufacturing. This is part 4 of a multi-part series, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on later parts. Things are going to start moving very quickly from this point forward, so let's just get into it. Our supply chains are going to get a lot more complicated as we move forward. Here is our supply chain now. This is what it should look like at the end of part 4. We already have some experience setting up cargo links and activating trade routes from part 2 of this series, but there's a lot going on here, so save often and be ready to make some mistakes. I know I did. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Much like part 2, this episode will be separated into 5 steps. Step 1, we'll make some changes to existing outposts that will set us up for the rest of the episode. Step 2, we'll settle on 2 new planets that will exclusively extract Helium-3, as well as add more Helium-3 extractors to our supply chain. Step 3, we'll build more cargo links on each planet. Step 4, we'll activate the cargo links and our trade routes. In Step 5, we'll build and connect our Tier 2 manufacturing machines, the compound fabricators. By the end of Part 4, you will be manufacturing drilling rigs, molecular sieves, paramagnon conductors, positron batteries, semi-metal wafers, sterile nanotubes, supercooled magnets, and zero-G gimbals. We will not be manufacturing control rods or nuclear fuel rods just yet, as they are not used as ingredients in Tier 2 manufacturing or to construct any buildings we care to build just yet. We will be manufacturing them eventually, so don't worry. You will need Rank 3 planetary habitation and Rank 1 outpost engineering for this episode. To begin, as I said in part 2, we need to disable some manufacturing chains and trade routes that produce resources that are not used as ingredients for further manufacturing. On Jaffa 1A, delete the red threads connecting to the simple fabricator that produces monopropellants. This includes the input of extracted alkanes, the manufactured mag pressure tanks, and the imported reactive gauges. On Jaffa 2A, delete the red threads connecting to the simple fabricator that produce comm relays. This includes the input of manufactured isocentered magnets and the imported tau-grade rheostats. Then disable the cargo link that is importing tau-grade rheostats, as we'll be using it for something else. Be sure to remove all contents from the import container and the buffer, and then delete the buffer. On Jaffa 4A, delete the red threads connecting to the cargo link that exports tau-grade rheostats to Jaffa 2A. Then delete the cargo link itself. Replace it with an inter-system cargo link and connect up all the threads you just deleted. Then fuel it with the Helium-3 being extracted here. This will be an inter-system cargo link that exports tau-grade rheostats to a new location. After my latest behind-the-scenes supply chain restructure, we no longer need to be extracting uranium on Eridani 3. You are free to dismantle this extraction setup if you wish. All you'll need to complete this step is a single comm relay. I want to give a very special shout out to Klaus Schume Madsen 4840, I apologize if I mispronounced that, who verified that you actually only need one side of an inter-system cargo link trade route fueled in order for it to operate. This does free up the need for outposts that exclusively extract Helium-3 and reduce the overall number and need of cargo links. And while I strongly considered restructuring the supply chain to take advantage of this information, I cannot verify that this isn't intended behavior that will be patched out in a later patch, update, or even the community patch. So that being the case, while this is a wonderful find and might be helpful to many of you, I will be supplying all the inter-system cargo links in this guide series. But if at the end, or even during the series, you want to do your own thing and need more cargo links or planets, this may be an interesting solution. So thanks again to Klaus Schuh Madsen 4840 for the information. Out of the 4 additional outposts that Planetary Habitation Rank 3 gives us, we'll only be using 2 this episode. But before that, we need to add more extractors to existing outposts to fuel our supply chain we're about to expand. On Jaffa 4a, build 20 additional Helium-3 extractors, or as many as you can. The ratio is about 3.6 Tier 1 Helium-3 extractors per intersystem cargo link, and we'll have about 7 in the Jaffa system by the end of the video. So just build as many as you can, up to 20, for a total of 25. If you don't have a large deposit of Helium-3 and don't have room for that many Helium-3 extractors, it isn't a huge deal as we're only using Tier 1 extractors without any robots or crew members. But you should know that this will eventually create a bottleneck in your supply chain. Unlike other resources, Helium-3 used by intersystem cargo links is constantly consumed. For now, if you can't produce enough Helium-3, it isn't a big deal as we'll upgrade our extractors in part 5 with the manufactured resources we'll be producing by the end of this video. However, if your resources aren't being transported, you won't be producing the resources you'll need. So in the meantime, consider some workarounds to achieve the necessary production per minute. 1. Input Helium-3 manually into the storage containers. 2. Build some additional temporary Helium-3 extractors and other outposts and ship them to the outposts that need it. 3. Build some sanitation mini-bots to increase the extraction rate of Helium-3. 4. Assign crew members like Heller and Lin to increase Helium-3 production. In the document I've linked, you'll find a new page about Helium-3 optimization that details how many intersystem cargo links each planet will supply, the number of total extractors you'll need to supply it, and the Helium-3 production per minute you'll need to achieve whether you do or don't have enough extractors. On Zeta Ophiuchi 3a, build up to 13 additional Helium-3 extractors for a total of 18. Again, if you don't have space for 18 extractors, use the workarounds I just listed. On Beta Marae 2a, build up to 28 additional Helium-3 extractors for a total of 33. For our new outposts, on Eridani 4c, find an outpost location with a large deposit of Helium-3. This outpost will eventually supply Helium-3 to the majority of our outposts later on. About 74 intersystem cargo links in total from this one outpost. Neither aluminum nor europium are necessary for this outpost. Build up to 22 extractors, or as many as you can. And then, on Tau Ceti 1 in the Craters biome, find an outpost location with a large deposit of Helium-3, preferably one that can support 29 extractors or more. Iron is not necessary for this outpost. Build 11 Helium-3 extractors for now. Here are the resources you'll need to complete this step. On Zeta Ophiuchi 3a, build a normal cargo link that will export Helium-3. You should now have 2 normal cargo links exporting Helium-3. As a reminder, this means to build the cargo link, an export buffer storage container, and an import buffer storage container for overflow. Link the last of the extraction storage container daisy chain to the export buffer storage container. Link the export buffer storage container to the export container. Link the import container to the import storage container buffer. And link the import buffer to the first container of the extraction daisy chain so that the overflow will loop back into the system. Do this for all exports going forward. On Zeta Ophiuchi 1, build an intersystem cargo link that will export tantalum, then build an intersystem cargo link that will export fibers. You should now have 2 intersystem cargo links exporting fibers. Use the imported Helium-3 to fuel the intersystem cargo links. For all imports going forward, build an import buffer. On Zeta Ophiuchi 6a, build an intersystem cargo link that will export antimony. Then, build a normal cargo link that will import Helium-3. Then, build an intersystem cargo link that will import neodymium. Use the imported Helium-3 to fuel the new intersystem cargo links. On Beta Marae 2a, build an intersystem cargo link that will export neodymium. Then, build an intersystem cargo link that will import isocentered magnets, and an intersystem cargo link that will import isotopic coolants. Use the helium-3 extracted here to fuel the intersystem cargo links. On Beta Array 1, build an intersystem cargo link that will export lubricants. Then, build an intersystem cargo link that will import tantalum, and build an intersystem cargo link that will import isocentered magnets. Use the imported helium-3 to fuel the new intersystem cargo links. On Beta Array 3, build an intersystem cargo link that will export ionic liquids. You should now have 2 intersystem cargo links that will export ionic liquids on this outpost. Use the imported helium-3 to fuel the new intersystem cargo link. On Jaffa 4a, build a normal cargo link that will export reactive gauges. You should now have 2 normal cargo links that export reactive gauges. You should also have already changed the normal cargo link that exported tau-grade rheostats to an intersystem cargo link. Use the helium extracted here to fuel that new intersystem cargo link. On Jaffa 5a, build a normal cargo link that will export imported helium-3. Because Jaffa 4a is using all 6 of its cargo links, we're going to be making a daisy chain of helium-3 import-exports that will chain throughout the Jaffa system. This will use more cargo links on other planets, but this is fine. Then build an intersystem cargo link that will export isotopic coolants. Use the imported helium-3 to fuel the new intersystem cargo link. On Jaffa 2a, change the deprecated and unused normal cargo link that used to import tau-grade rheostats to export imported helium-3. Then build an intersystem cargo link that will export isocentered magnets. Build one more intersystem cargo link that will export isocentered magnets. So you should have 2 intersystem cargo links that export isocentered magnets. Finally, build a normal cargo link that will import helium-3. Use the imported helium-3 to fuel the intersystem cargo links. On Jaffa 7b, build a normal cargo link that will export imported helium-3. Then, build a normal cargo link that will import helium-3. Build an intersystem cargo link that will import lubricants. And build a normal cargo link that will import reactive gauges. Use the imported helium-3 to fuel the new intersystem cargo links. On Jaffa 1a, build an intersystem cargo link that will export mag pressure tanks. Then build a normal cargo link that will import helium-3. Jaffa 1a is the end of the helium-3 daisy chain. Use the imported helium-3 to fuel the new intersystem cargo link. On Eridani 4c, build 2 normal cargo links that will both export helium-3. On Eridani 2, build an intersystem cargo link that will export molecular sieves. We don't have any just yet, but we will, so set it up in preparation. Molecular sieves are manufactured resources, so use the warehouse storage container. Then build a normal cargo link that will import helium-3. Build an intersystem cargo link that will import ionic liquids, and build an intersystem cargo link that will import mag pressure tanks. Use the imported helium-3 to fuel the new intersystem cargo links. On Eridani 3, build an intersystem cargo link that exports vanadium. Build another intersystem cargo link that imports antimony. Build a normal cargo link that imports helium-3, and build an intersystem cargo link that imports tau-grade rheostats. Use the imported helium-3 to fuel the new intersystem cargo links. On Tau Ceti 1, build a normal cargo link that exports helium-3. On Tau Ceti 2, build a normal cargo link that imports helium-3. Build an intersystem cargo link that imports vanadium. Build another intersystem cargo link that imports fibers. Connect the buffer for imported fibers to the animal husbandry facilities producing solvents. Then build one more intersystem cargo link that imports molecular sieves. Use the imported helium-3 to fuel the new intersystem cargo links. Here are the resources you'll need to complete this step. As we did in part 2, we're going to set up our trade links, but this time we're going to be focusing on planets and cargo links that only import resources. You run into fewer problems doing it by exports, but with so many new cargo links it becomes a hassle when selecting the correct cargo link to export to, as they are prioritized by the order in which they were built. On Zeta Ophiuchi 6A, connect the normal cargo link importing Helium-3 from Zeta Ophiuchi 1. Then connect the inter-system cargo link importing neodymium from Beta Marae 2A. I advise you to wait for the cargo ship to land and then leave again before moving on to the next planet, even if there was nothing in the export container. There can sometimes be buggy behavior if you leave the planet too soon after establishing a trade link. If you notice that a cargo ship simply doesn't arrive at all and no resources are being transported, don't worry. Typically, resources will be transported in the background correctly when you aren't on the planet. It's a weird bug, but don't stress. Additionally, because we're making trade connections via imports rather than exports, the first cargo ship will likely be empty. On Beta Marae 2A, connect the inter-system cargo link importing isocentered magnets to import from Jaffa 2A. Then connect the inter-system cargo link importing isotopic coolants from Jaffa 5A. On Beta Marae 1, connect the inter-system cargo link importing tantalum from Zeta Ophiuchi 1. Then connect the inter-system cargo link importing isocentered magnets from Jaffa 2A. On Jaffa 2A, connect the normal cargo link importing Helium-3 from Jaffa 5A. On Jaffa 7B, connect the normal cargo link importing Helium-3 from Jaffa 2A. Then connect the inter-system cargo link importing lubricants from Beta Marae 1. And connect the normal cargo link importing reactive gauges from Jaffa 4A. On Jaffa 1A, connect the normal cargo link importing Helium-3 from Jaffa 7B. On Eridani 2, connect the normal cargo link importing Helium-3 from Eridani 4C. Then connect the inter-system cargo link importing ionic liquids from Beta Marae 3. And connect the inter-system cargo link importing mag pressure tanks from Jaffa 1A. On Eridani 3, connect the inter-system cargo link importing antimony from Zeta Ophiuchi 6A. Then connect the normal cargo link importing Helium-3 from Eridani 4C. And connect the inter-system cargo link importing tau-grade rheostats from Jaffa 4A. On Tau Ceti 2, connect the normal cargo link importing Helium-3 from Tau Ceti 1. Then connect the inter-system cargo link importing vanadium from Eridani 3. And connect the inter-system cargo link importing fibers from Zeta Ophiuchi 1. And finally, connect the inter-system cargo link importing molecular sieves from Eridani 2. There aren't any molecular sieves being produced just yet, so it will show no output resources being returned. If everything went well, your cargo links should now be connected and you should be ready to start manufacturing Tier 2 resources. However, I also recommend going to each planet to verify that the correct cargo link is in fact receiving the correct import, and that exports are being loaded into the cargo ships and being shipped off. Everything should be working, but it doesn't hurt to double check your work. Finally, let's set up our automated manufacturing for Tier 2 manufactured resources. Again, we'll need 3 small warehouse storage containers for each compound fabricator, and 1 more small warehouse storage container by the outpost marker for easy access and retrieval of resources. In the documents going forward, I'll include a list of which power generation method is most efficient for each planet. On Jaffa 7B, build a compound fabricator that will manufacture drilling rigs. Be sure to select the correct output product before connecting your resources. Connect the tungsten extracted here, the imported lubricants, and the imported reactive gauges to the compound fabricator. On Beta Marae 1, build a compound fabricator that will manufacture 0G gimbals. Connect the imported tantalum, the imported isocentered magnets, and the lubricants produced here to the compound fabricator. On Beta Marae 2A, build a compound fabricator that will manufacture supercooled magnets. Connect the imported isocentered magnets, the imported isotopic coolants, and the neodymium extracted here to the compound fabricator. On Zeta Ophiuchi 6A, build a compound fabricator that will manufacture semi-metal wafers. Connect the 0 wire manufactured here, the gold extracted here, and the antimony extracted here to the compound fabricator. Then build another compound fabricator that will manufacture paramagnon conductors. Connect the 0 wire manufactured here, the gold extracted here, and the imported neodymium to the compound fabricator. On Eridani 2, build a compound fabricator that will manufacture molecular sieves. Connect the membranes produced here, the imported mag pressure tanks, and the imported ionic liquids to the compound fabricator. Then connect the manufactured molecular sieves to the cargo link we set up to be exported to Tau Ceti 2. On Eridani 3, build a compound fabricator that will manufacture positron batteries. Connect the imported antimony, the Tau grade rheostats, and the vanadium extracted here to the compound fabricator. And finally, on Tau Ceti 2, build a compound fabricator that will manufacture sterile nanotubes. Then connect the imported molecular sieves, the solvents produced here, and the imported vanadium to the compound fabricator. You should now be producing a majority of all Tier 2 manufactured resources. Again, we are not producing control rods nor nuclear fuel rods, but we will eventually. Here are the resources you'll need to complete this step. You might notice that there are some fabricators not producing resources due to insufficient input resources. Again, this is due to insufficient output and extraction of resources, which we'll address in Part 5, as we upgrade our extractors and storage containers with Tier 2 buildings and machines. To do that, you will need to unlock and complete all research associated with Rank 1 Outpost engineering. For now, simply wait to speed up time and you should see your supply chain come to life. In the description, I have linked to a number of resources that should assist you. I reformatted the supply chain flowchart so it's a little easier to understand, and made changes to the old flowcharts as well. Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed the content, please consider liking the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye now!